Hey, it's Steve. Welcome to the latest Geo-rant. It's about 28 degrees Fahrenheit out, and it's January 30th. It's at night, so I got the passenger light on so you can see me. But today I want to talk about the Earth's magnetic field. I actually got in it with somebody about this well, we know the Earth's magnetic field flips. Right now, compasses point north. Other times they've pointed south. That's the simplest way to put that. But, you always have doomsday sayers who say things like, oh yeah, the continents are going to shift wildly and there's going to be typhoons and all that. Just to set the record straight, Earth has had many magnetic reversals. Just since the Jurassic, we've had several dozen, and none of that has ever happened, ever in the history of ever, and isn't going to. Now, the last magnetic reversal occurred 780,000 years ago, and we don't really know when these are going to occur, and I hate it when people say we're overdue for a flip. That doesn't mean anything. These things are not that regular. As most things in dealing with geology are not. Well, what will happen? Well, first, basically in a nutshell, you got to understand the Earth's magnetic field is generated by the outer liquid core, which in turn influences the solid inner core. Okay, we're not exactly sure why it flips, but we understand the process pretty well. At least we think we do. We do know that reversals happen in relatively short periods of time. And when I say short periods, I mean on a geologic scale. I'm not talking about, like within your lifetime. We're talking, 100 to maybe 10,000 years it takes to do one of these. Not only that, but the thing with the reversals is... Oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. The thing about the reversals is, since we don't know how long they take, a lot of times they're aborted. Nature does like some stability. I think it was in the 1500s, we kind of had a dipole situation where the Earth's magnetic field was kind of in flux, but then it went right back to north. I think 45,000 years ago, there was a temporary reversal. That didn't last very long, if memory serves. I forget what it's even called. But it will flip again. And, our species wasn't around when compasses would have pointed south, but our ancestors were. They got along just fine. Even animals that rely on the Earth's magnetic field to navigate seem to have survived just fine without any problems. People have tried to correlate extinctions with magnetic reversals and have come up with absolutely nothing. These things just don't seem to affect life that much. That being said, while the reversal's happening, the Earth's magnetic field does weaken, and it has been doing so for about 400 years. And it's accelerated in about the past century. So we can expect the Earth's magnetic field to at least attempt to reverse. Whether or not it's actually going to is a different story. But when the magnetic field weakens, this creates things like holes in the ozone, temporary, allows more solar radiation to get through. This can, this can have effects on life. It's not totally just a passive thing. Also, could possibly damage some low orbit satellites that rely on the magnetic field for, protection from solar radiation. But we all aren't going to die. We're not going to roast in a heaping fire. The continents are not going to fly off the planet. None of that is going to even remotely happen. As a matter of fact, our technology, a lot of it is based on, magnetic north. But, these things don't happen overnight. We know these reversals, you're not just going to wake up tomorrow and compasses are going to be pointing south. It's just not going to happen. It's not that instantaneous. And we've already started to adapt. you know, we're going to have to probably deal with it for a while, but it's not going to be traumatizing. Matter of fact, a lot of our technology has been moving away from relying on the North Magnetic Pole. So, the British have done some great work on this. I suggest, you know, going to British Science magazine and looking it up if you want more detail. But basically, in a nutshell, the Earth's magnetic field does seem to be weakening, and we see that in this, it's called the South Atlantic anomaly, where there actually is some dipole kind of like action, like the compasses don't quite work quite right. So it's trying to flip, but I mean, that anomaly is presently over South America, and I don't hear about planes dropping out of the sky, volcanoes killing massive amounts of people. So it's just take the reversal with a grain of salt. People being born today may live long enough to actually see it happen. But yeah, don't get your panties in a bundle about it. It's not going to be the end of the world. There are far greater risks to this planet in 2017 than a magnetic reversal. All right, I hope you learned something.